What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Move Better channel. I am your host, Dr. Joe, and this is John, the Professor Penisarada. Today, we're going to talk about heel pain again, and the third type of heel pain that we can possibly get, and I experience this a lot with my athletes, with runners, football players, basketball players. This is more about Achilles tendonitis. Now, again, there are many things that we could possibly think of when it comes to heel pain. Actually, there's three when we start thinking about it right away off the top of our head. The last one that we wanted to talk about today is Achilles tendonitis and where you might be dealing with that type of pain. Today we're going to learn where you may feel it on your heel and how we're going to be able to fix it. So let's get to it. When dealing with Achilles tendonitis or the heel pain, sometimes people will feel it right at the tip of the heel at this point right here, and they'll feel the inflammation. They'll feel like it's really sensitive. Sometimes you'll even see a little ball there because of all the inflammation that has settled in that spot. But some people do feel it down at the bottom of the heel, at least at the base, at the furthest part of the heel back here. Because remember, the Achilles, it goes all the way through here, and although we see that it ends on our anatomy here, sometimes the inflammation settles and it goes all the way down to the bottom of the foot here. And so what we want to do is we want to test it first. We're gonna kind of palpate it. We're gonna press. We're gonna see how much inflammation. We're gonna compare it from side to side, and then we're gonna try to fix it. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our tennis ball, we're gonna grab our softball, we're gonna grab a lacrosse ball, whatever you guys have at home. You can even utilize your foam roller. Today we're gonna be utilizing a softball to work on the attachment points of the Achilles. First place that we're gonna start is the soleus muscle, and we're gonna go onto the lower part of that area. Now again, most people just say, oh, just because you're putting pressure on, they start to go up and down, they start rolling it out, and they're really aggressive with the foam rolling and the self-massage. You don't need to be aggressive. You just need to place pressure down. And again, the whole purpose of this is to try to get a little bit of a glide between the muscle and the fascia, increase some blood flow into that area. And we want to try to gain communication pathways between the muscle and the brain connection. So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to place pressure on the soleus, leave that pressure, and now he's just going to let his foot do the work. He's going to point his toe, he's going to bring it up, he's going to roll his foot around and try to gain as much friction with the ball as possible, so that way we can do our little self-massage. We don't have to leave it on one area. I'm going to hold it here. Now I'm going to have him rotate on the inside of the soleus. There you go. And then you're just going to roll it all the way around. And he's going to do this a few times. He doesn't have to stay there too long, maybe 30 seconds to a minute or so. And then he's going to go back on the other side. Not 30 to 60 seconds on everything, more like 30 to 60 seconds on all of it, all together. Not like 3 to 5 minutes of foam rolling. We don't need that. Again, all we're trying to do is just create that communication pathway. After we do the soleus here, we're going to bring it up a little bit higher because the gastroc might be a culprit of the issue as well. This is probably more like the victim. This is going to be the culprit. We got to find out where the area is really coming from that's causing him this dysfunction. We're going to, again, foam roll. We're utilizing a crossball. We're going to roll the leg in and out. Remember, try not to tense up so much because it can be painful for some people. It can be too much pain, and then all of a sudden your foot is all cramped up and you're just fighting the foam rolling. The foam rolling should not hurt. The self-massage should not hurt. It may feel a little tender, but you don't want to be pushing so hard to where you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't even release it, because you're only going to be causing yourself more of an injury if you push too hard. All right, again, I'm going to have John on a slant board because, again, we're working with the heel. We're trying to lengthen the muscles of the soleus and the gastroc. We're just trying to give it a nice little stretch. Now, for John here, he has both feet on top. I'm going to have him just stand on one foot, the foot that's normally painful here. And you're going to bring this leg back. You're going to put it on the floor here. And now I want to try to stretch the soleus and the gastroc, but at first I'm going to stretch the soleus. And in order to do that, I need to bend the knee a little bit more. Although you don't need to bend the knee, even though some people talk about like, oh, you need to, in order for you to stretch the gastroc and the soleus, you need to bend the knee. In this case, all I'm trying to do is just focus on the lower half of his ankle. And that's where the soleus is going to start to stretch, which then again attaches to the Achilles. So we're leaving that. He can also still stretch it if he's pretty sensitive. Go ahead and stand up both feet. If he's really sensitive, he can still lock his knee out. No matter what, I know some people say, hey, in order to get to that, you need to bend the knee. You don't necessarily need to bend the knee always, because if they are really tight in this area, or if you are really tight in this area, you could just sit in this position and you're going to really start to feel the stretch at the soleus and at the gastroc. So I'm locking his knees out here, and I'm going to have you hinge, kick your butt back. There you go. And as he hinges back, he's going to feel that stretch, and he's going to lean onto that gastroc, and he's going to still be stretching out that soleus, which attaches to the Achilles. Now, I don't want to stay there too long. I'm only going to have him sit there for about 15 seconds or so, and then I'm going to let it release. I'm going to have you come back up. There you go. And then now the reason why I want to do this is I want to be very dynamic with this muscle, because I'm trying to get the muscle to activate. I don't necessarily want to completely release the muscle. I want to have him, again, I'm trying to get him to learn how to re-walk, re-move, re-run, whatever it is, so he doesn't have any pain. Sometimes it is a process. Now, as I said before in the past, I did put a block between his heels, but that was for posterior tib tendonitis. Now I'm just trying to get the Achilles to activate and strengthen. So I'm going to keep him in an isometric fashion, just holding his heels up just like this. Eventually, after I have him hold for an extended period of time, now I want to try to activate it even more, and I'm going to try to do an eccentric heel drop here and slowly drop his heels down. And from here, you're going to stretch, bring that bend those knees forward, bend those knees forward, bend those knees forward. And he's going to get a little bit of a deeper stretch, straighten your legs, and come right back up fast. Up, hold it right there. So as you can see, we see the gastroc and we see the soleus. They're all activating here, which is going to tension up the Achilles tendonitis. Now, when we have tendonitis, sometimes the ligamentous structures, you can go ahead and relax real quick. The tendons are injured. Sometimes there could be some minor tears, some microscopic tears, and that's the reason why the inflammation settles in. We want to try to create tension when we create tension, we create strength. When we create strength, we can heal faster, and we can get him back to his sport a lot quicker. So this is just the first step. So lastly, again, we're doing a dynamic stretch with an activation. The way you do this, I'm only just going to have you guys do it for one set at a time. And you're going to be doing this throughout the day. Normally, I recommend to my patients that you're going to be doing one set in the morning, one set mid-morning, one set in the afternoon, so that way we can get the body to adapt to the injuries that you're dealing with. Once again, you guys, Achilles tendonitis can show up in all types of ways. What we're doing here is we're just trying to calm the system down to get you guys back into sport a little bit faster. There needs to be a thorough evaluation of why you guys had Achilles tendonitis in the first place. One of the things that we want to do is ensure that we have the chain working together, and that includes the hips, the feet, the ankles, the toes, everything in the system to be able to decrease your Achilles tendonitis. Now, for John here. John, you had a question?
Yeah, our question is, most of the cases, like you'll have patients that will wonder, okay, do I actually need surgery based off of the advice that they got from,
Their
physician or surgeon or whatnot?
Yeah.
So when do you actually need them?
So the way I learned it, and the way that we looked at our athletes is, again, the goal is to try to get people back into sport as fast as possible, trying to get them to play their sport. Now, if you're a professional athlete, a lot of times you're going to be dealing with an Achilles rupture, and if you do have an Achilles rupture, they're going to want surgical procedures right away. Yeah. Now, not everybody is all up for surgical procedures. One of the biggest questions, instead of saying, when do I opt for surgery, is knowing, is surgery a requirement for an Achilles rupture? There are a lot of new studies out there that are showing the Achilles actually does and can heal on its own. Even full thickness ruptures I've seen actually heal. And there's a possibility of that happening. Now, it is a case-by-case situation. I would highly take the prescriptions of your doctor and your orthopedic advice, and check out different ways that you guys can possibly heal yourself in the fastest way possible. Thanks again, you guys, for joining us on another episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, send it to all your friends, family who deal with Achilles tendonitis. And we want to make sure that you guys are feeling better and get you guys back to your sport as fast as possible. Thanks again for joining us, you guys. See you guys on the next episode.